Hi everyone! So today I have my best of 2021 video for you. I wanted to get these up before the year was over, but it was kind of a messy December. I did have a small health scare, a little trip to the ER and some recovery. I'm fine, like it's not COVID, it's nothing really that serious, but it did definitely take some time out of my schedule. And then unfortunately my grandma passed away right before Christmas. So we knew that it was coming, and you know, over the past few years, she's just been slowly declining, but it did end up kind of happening a little faster or sooner than we had anticipated. Yeah, so just kind of a lot happened last month. But nevertheless, I'm excited to talk about my favorite products of last year. I wanted to limit it to products that I just tried for the first time in 2021. I did do a top 10 of 2021 post on Instagram. That's sort of like a very condensed version of this video, but I wanted to jump on here and explain a little bit more, as well as include some of the products that I still loved and used all the time, but I couldn't fit onto the list. As usual, I will include a shop list post for every product that's mentioned in this video. So, and if you're not familiar, what shop list is it's sort of like a shoppable top shelf. So I can categorize products per video. So what I'll do is I'll create a post for best of 2021. I'll link it in this video so that way you can browse and shop everything that I mention in this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into skincare first. And let's start with cleanser. So last year for me was a really big gel cleanser year. I didn't really wear much makeup at all unless I was filming. So a double cleanse with a gel cleanser was enough for me. My number one was definitely the Circumference Daily Regenerative Gel Cleanser. This one launched, I think, Earth Day 2021. What I love so much about this is you can even see here in the bottle, it's quite viscous because there's so much glycerin in here. You do get a satisfying lather, but rather than stripping my skin, it does actually leave it feeling really comfortable and hydrated. And this does do a pretty good job of removing, you know, light daily makeup, you know, a little concealer, a little powder, some sunscreen. And I love that it comes in a nice pump action. I would say this is good for all skin types, but especially if you are dry or dehydrated and you want a gel, this is definitely one worth looking at. And what's really cool is they partner with Brightland olive oil, and they use the leftover olive leaves that can't be utilized during the olive oil making process, and they extract the nutrients out of that and include it in the cleanser. So it's sort of turning a brand's waste product into a raw material, which I think is so cool. Another gel cleanser that I love is the Versed Wash It Out. What's really special about this is it has a little bit of lactic acid in it, so you do feel like your skin is slightly smoother after using it because it does actually lean slightly acidic. It's non-stripping and non-drying. I would say all skin types, but especially if you are combination or oily and or blemish prone and you want a good gel cleanser that doesn't have any salicylic in it or anything like that you can just use every single day, this is a really great option that again is non-drying. There is a tiny bit of peppermint oil in here, but as I've said in previous videos, like for me on a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 1 or a 2. Like, I mean, you can tell it's there, but it's not like you feel this like cooling sensation on your face for half an hour afterwards, which I'm not against, but I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. So I would say probably the biggest change for me in 2021 was that I started using a NUFACE. If you are someone who loves skincare, but you just want to take an extra step and go beyond what just topical skincare can do, something like a microcurrent device I think does make an immediate and long-term difference. At least it has on my skin. I used it this morning and I've been using it fairly consistently since July, and I just love it. It's just the kind of thing that your face just looks better after you do it. For me especially, I notice like I have a lot of fluid retention kind of in my cheek area and in my under eye area. This does a really great job of kind of draining that out, kind of making my skin texture look a little bit more even because there's less kind of fluid underneath the surface. And I've noticed long term it's kind of lifted my brow. I've noticed it more actually on this side than this side, but I have noticed a definite lift, especially right here and right here. If you can avoid paying full price for it, that would be my recommendation. What I did is when I moved back to Houston, I put all of my moving expenses on my Ulta credit card, and then I redeemed my points to get like, I only paid about $20 for this once I redeemed all my points. So if you can do it that way or get a discount from Derm Store or something like that, definitely do it, because why pay full price for it? But I think it is truly like an investment that I'm very, very happy with. And because the device feels so well made, I feel like I'm gonna have this for quite a long time. Used to the people, Mandelic Acid, Superfood, Unity Exfoliant. Love this one a lot. This is a blend of 3% mandelic acid, 2% salicylic, and 1% polyhydroxy acid. Because mandelic is such a gentle AHA, it sort of doesn't really sting my skin. I can use it after I shave, for example, to prevent ingrowns, but also to kind of target any hyperpigmentation I might have, and just to improve the look of my skin tone overall. Y'all know I love Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid. I've been using that for 7 or 8 years at this point, and I do like it, but this just takes everything I love about the Paula's Choice and just elevates it and refines it a little bit more. It has flip top packaging, so it's a lot easier to use. Glass, so it's recyclable. It has the addition of mandelic acid to really target those, like I said, spots. And then also, you know, superfood antioxidants as well to protect from free radical damage. As many of you might know, Youth to the People got acquired by L'Oreal, so I'm not sure what's gonna change. I don't think I'm alone in kind of expressing my disappointment. I don't know, to me like a Shiseido would have made more sense, or even like an Estee Lauder would have made more sense, but I digress. Serums, the serums I used the most during the year, I've actually finished 3 out of 4 of them. Tracy Martin Firming, love this one. It's ridiculously expensive, but if I had all the money in the world, this would be the only serum I would ever buy. It's just perfect to me. The ALPYN Beauty Wild Nettle Niacinamide Firming Serum. This was one that I literally had to tell myself, okay, you gotta try something else. You have other serums that need to kind of get played with, because I was just using it twice a day, every day, and loving it. As far as firming, I don't know that I noticed all that much of a difference, but it's a nice milky texture. It does feel lightly hydrating. I just think it kind of helped keep my skin feeling really comfortable throughout my time of using it. Youth to the People 15% vitamin C and clean caffeine, whatever that means, energy serum. This one was really, really great at smoothing my texture. I would apply it and immediately my skin would feel smoother, but then after I would wash my face at the end of the day, my skin would feel as if I had used an exfoliant, but I didn't. It was just the smoothing benefits of this serum. And I love the texture. I'm like, there's like nothing left. But it's like a really lovely like gel texture that's like not sticky, really blends in nicely, layers nicely. Big fan of that. And then Green Machine by INNBEAUTY Project. This is just one that I reached for kind of without thinking. I think this is great for someone who's looking to kind of maintain their skin. It does have azelaic acid in here to theoretically help with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. But there's also a lot, they say there's plant stem cells, a blend of plant oils, some super greens for antioxidant protection. But yeah, I think this is just a great starter serum. However, the serum that I chose for my top 10 is actually from Versed, and it is the Autosave Advanced Restoring Serum. And this is actually what I have on today. It's a blend of Floritin, ferulic acid, vitamin C, iron oxides, and some microalgae. So this is a really great example of like the ideal daily protective serum. Pairing this with your sunscreen is going to give your sunscreen that antioxidant boost it needs to give you really robust protection. To me, this is like the ideal daytime maintenance serum to keep your skin kind of running at an optimal level. I would say it's similar to the INNBEAUTY Project in the sense that the focus is on antioxidant protection, but I think the Versed is just a little bit more robust. It has a little bit more going for it, and frankly, I'm just so impressed that a serum that feels so nice to use, that has such great ingredients in it, at levels that feel like they actually can do something, that it's, you know, less than $30. I mean, what, 5, 6, 7 years ago, ferulic acid was an ingredient that was only being used by, you know, the dermatologist brands or the really luxe brands. So nowadays, being able to pick this up from Target, I think is just, it's just great. It's such a good serum. And I love that it comes with a pump. Another one of my top 10s was the SACHI Ursolic Acid and Retinal Overnight Reform. This is just such a powerhouse formula. It's really hard to explain just like how much good stuff is in here and how focused this is, because like has encapsulated retinaldehyde, liposomal ursolic acid, a tripeptide blend, as well as Ayurvedic botanicals, bakuchiol, glutathione, niacinamide. Everything that's in here is designed to just kind of target almost every skin concern you could have I mean, retinoids are really great at tackling multiple skin concerns, but the fact that this has, you know, retinaldehyde as well as all of those other great ingredients that are just beneficial, it's such a phenomenal product. I don't feel like it's drying, but it is quite strong, so it's not something that I use more than once or twice a week. But when I do, I always notice a huge difference in my skin the next day. And I guess continuing on, a product that it's still fairly new to me, the INKEY Peptide Moisturizer. I was so surprised at how much I liked this because it wasn't something I've really heard anybody talking about. It's just so good. It's that same kind of airtight pump jar packaging, which I love. It's a really nice silky texture. It's like a light to medium weight. It definitely gives moisture, but it's not something that I would reach for on my driest days, and it's not something I would reach for on my oiliest days. What I like about this is I think if you're someone who is very simple and minimal with your skincare routine, and you just, you cleanse, tone, moisturize, sunscreen, call it a day, and would be a great way to kind of introduce peptides into your routine without adding in another product, if that makes sense. 2021 was the year that I really took sunscreen seriously, and like there isn't a day that goes by where I don't wear it. Even if there's nothing else I put in my face, I just take a moisturizing sunscreen after cleansing, call it a day. And I have noticed a difference in my skin because of it. Like in general, it just is a little bit more clearer, it's a little bit brighter, more even in tone. I just feel like it's just helped my skin overall. I did do a full kind of sunscreen favorites video over the summer that I'll link below. I would say the one that I used probably more than anything on like a daily basis is the ROCHE-POSAY Double Repair UV. It's just perfect. The texture just feels like a regular moisturizer. It's really easy to blend. It doesn't leave a white cast. It does have ceramides and niacinamide in here, which is great. Plus, I do love that it's a 75 ml or 2.5 ounce tube. I feel like with a lot of sunscreens, you're usually looking at something that's around this size, which is a 50 ml. And just to have a little bit more product, I think is just really nice, especially with this sunscreen, because you need to use an adequate amount to get the protection that is labeled on the tube. So definitely the one that I wore the most was the ROCHE-POSAY. The one that I was happiest about is the Vacation Classic Lotion. And this is actually the one that I included on my top 10 list because I haven't been this excited about a brand launch in so long. I just love how committed this brand is to being campy, to just being, campy I think is the best word. Everything about this brand is very like 80s Miami Beach Club. Like they ship the sunscreen to you in like a pharmacy bag. I think so often brands just take themselves too seriously or they don't have an identity at all and they just kind of piece it together from brands that already exist where they're truly like trying to carve out their own niche. Also love the scent. It's a step above a banana boat. It does have a banana coconut scent, but there is a undeniable wet swimsuit lycra note in here. And for that, I just love it. So I did start out by using this on my face, but now it's definitely more of a body sunscreen for me just because of the amount of fragrance that's in here. I don't necessarily want to smell that on my face the whole day, And then I would say the other sunscreen that I probably used the most is Black Girl Sunscreen. This is so good. This is a very glossy sunscreen. So for me, it's what I reach for when my skin is feeling drier. Just that extra boost of moisture and that extra sheen on the skin I think is really appealing. And yeah, I love that it doesn't leave a white cast. I love that it's not super expensive. You can get it at places like Target and Ulta. I have seen a lot of people recommend the kids version, but if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the UVA protection in that is as robust as in here. I can't remember if it's octisalate or octocrylene that's not in there, but let me actually look that up. Avobenzone homosalate octisalate. So it doesn't have octocrylene, and I think you need octocrylene as like either a UVA stabilizer or something like that. And I think perhaps the UVA protection might not be as good in there as it is in here. So that's my only. Please correct me if I'm wrong though, but that's just from what I remember. Also, huge shout out to the Sun Bears. These are also, if I was wearing a lot of really heavily moisturizing skincare, this is usually what I would layer on top just because these are so, light and fluid, but they're just great for how robust the UVA protection is, for how, you know, thin and fluid the textures are. And even though at least the Super Strong Plus and the Strong Cool Plus have, I believe, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide in them as well, they don't really leave a white cast on my skin tone. I would be curious to see how they look on a deeper skin tone, but I don't really see any, you know, kind of dryness or pastiness, which is great. Also great for keeping in your bag to reapply throughout the day because they are so thin and fluid. You can just, you know, kind of lightly just press on top. Maybe I'll do that right now. Just press a little bit on top. Just if you're about to step outside and you just want to kind of lightly, see, I mean, it didn't really mess up my makeup all that much, which is great. Love the Sun Bears, and just I kind of rediscovered my love for Japanese and Korean sunscreens. I think they're, you know, the UVA protection is just so much more robust because the filters that they use in Europe and in Asia are so much more advanced than what we can use in the US. So also huge shout out to the Live Tinted Hueguard. This is a brilliant sunscreen, especially if you're someone who has a deeper, richer skin tone and you want to use something that's mineral based, but you don't want that gray, purple kind of look of something that's purely zinc or titanium dioxide based. This does have a little bit of a golden tint to it, like the color of the sunscreen really matches the color of the packaging. And like, yes, because it's a mineral sunscreen, there will inevitably be a little bit of a cast that's left behind, but because I've taken such good care to tint it ever so slightly, it does do a brilliant job of kind of mitigating that as much as possible. That, I mean, credit where credit is due. This is brilliant. And then a very honorable mention to the La Roche-Posay Anthelios Invisible Fluid Shaka Protect, and the Verdio UV Moisture Essence, also phenomenal. The Soft Surfaces Smoothing Solution, which is a gel exfoliant designed for the body. I don't personally like these aluminum tubes because oftentimes they can crack up here at the top and then you're unnecessarily getting oxygen in here. I do understand there's a recyclability component, but I would much prefer a pump bottle or something like that. But nevertheless, it's what's inside that really counts, and I love this stuff so much. Because it's a gel, it's super spreadable, so you don't really need to use very much at a time. Like I'll show you here, this can easily do my entire arm, no problem. And this is the kind of thing that I use when, especially on the back of my arms here. So this is really great for uneven texture, uneven tone. You have keratosis pilaris. This could be a really great way to kind of keep those kind of the hardened skin cells, kind of softening them up, as well as adding an exfoliating benefit. 10% lactic acid, 5% urea. It's fragrance free, and this is the kind of thing you can layer underneath your lotion at night to give a nice exfoliating boost, especially if you plan on showering the next morning. I do feel like if I shower after using it, I get better results. I don't know, to me, it's the kind of product that in theory should have existed this whole time, but either it hasn't, or I haven't come across it yet, or both. And last but not least, for body, the First Aid Beauty KP Bump Eraser Body Scrub. You can see mine has been very well loved. I think this is probably one of the best body scrubs I've ever used, and I don't know, for me, body scrub is one of those things that's really hard to get right. If it's too dense of a texture, you can't put it in a tube because then the product doesn't come out, which I think this is technically probably too thick and too dense for this type of packaging. Otherwise, I wouldn't need to squeeze it so hard every time to get the product out. But if they were to put it in a jar, I would not like it as much because I hate body scrubs in jars. I mean, for me, it's like you're using a body scrub in the shower, so there's moisture. Your hands are probably wet when you're scooping them into a jar, which means you're introducing excess water into the product. I would always prefer a tube, but then it's like, it's hard to find a body scrub in a tube that actually feels robust enough to do something. And the pumice in here is so refined that you just almost feel like, I mean, you can probably, I'll put it next to the mic, but you hear how like, it's like very granular. It's like a legitimate like pumicey paste that when you use it on damp skin, it just does such a great job of really buffing away rough texture, bumpiness, etc. But yeah, I think this is the only one I'm gonna be buying from now on. It's just perfect for me. Okay, I think that's it for skincare. Let's do a little bit of hair care. First things first, the SHAZ and KIKS Unearth Yourself Balancing Clay Hair Cleanser. What a unique, fantastic concoction. It's almost like a scalp scrubbing conditioner or shampoo in one, and then it does have a little bit of texture to it. And you can see there's like, it almost looks like blackberry seeds or something like that that's in here. Super, super concentrated. It lathers up beautifully. I don't necessarily think it's stripping, but it's quite a deep cleansing product. So I really only use it once or twice a month in place of my regular shampoo, but it's just so special. Like it just gives my hair like a really deep cleanse without stripping. It gives my roots a little bit of a lift because it does such a great job of, you know, breaking up any dead skin cells. It smells amazing to me. Like I have heard some people don't love it, but I'm a big fan. It reminds me of Origin's Checks and Balances, scent-wise. Herbaceous, a little minty, a little sweet. It is worth noting this is like just a temporary kind of supply chain shortage packaging. Normally it comes in like a really pretty pink jar, but they said they weren't able to get that for this run of product. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it doesn't matter because what's inside is really the magic. So I'm fine with it being like this, but just as a heads up. Oh, it's blueberry seeds, not blackberry seeds. Love that, but just so unique. I've never used a shampoo or hair cleanser that's like this, and it's just such a special product. Wasn't going to mention these, but I do get questions all the time about the shampoo and conditioner that I use on a regular basis, and it's still the Odell Smoothing Shampoo Curl Defining Conditioner, my jam. It's probably one of the best shampoo and conditioner duos I've used in a very, very long time. But then something I tried last year for the first time was the Amika The Closer Instant Repair Cream. It is a little bit small. I wish they put it in a bigger packaging, but this is something that I use either right before my hair is totally dry or at the very end. I just run a little bit on my ends just to kind of, you know, I have a tendency to get split. I haven't had my hair cut in quite a while. Just take about a pump or two, and I just use this to kind of seal my ends a little bit. It's not something I use to kind of add hydration throughout my hair. I would rather use, you know, like a curl defining cream or a hydrating hair cream, but just to kind of seal my ends and to smooth everything out. It does a really good job of that. The Kosas Brow Collection that launched, I think early 2021. Love, just so impressed, especially the Brow Pop Pencil. I love the packaging. It kind of reminds me of, you know, those like mechanical pencils from like the early 2000s. It has like the kind of that triangular tip, which I don't traditionally like because I tend to prefer something really, really fine that I can kind of draw hairs with, which you can do with this, but it does have like a soft kind of edge that you can use to shade as well. Yeah, I think they did a good job with the initial launch of the colors that they came out with. I think the prices are pretty good. They're not ridiculously expensive. I like that they came out with 3 different kind of products to start. So you have a pencil, you have your tinted brow gel, and then you have your clear gel. And yeah, the pencil is definitely my favorite. So easy to blend. It's not too soft, which I also like. I hate an overly soft brow pencil because it just looks unnatural, you know? And then just we'll do a little bit of the tinted. I have black in the pencil and the gel, and it's a really great, cool dark brown. I wouldn't say it's quite black. If you have sort of my coloring or my hair color, and your natural, I mean, my brow natural color is so almost bluish greenish that I really need something with a lot of gray in it and with a lot of coolness. And I'm glad that this isn't red toned. Maybe it's simple, but the fact that the packaging is square, it does make it kind of harder to roll off your table, which I think is just really nice. And then last but not least for makeup, you knew it was coming, the Flower Beauty Warrior Princess Mascara. Just, again, it's like the vacation. It's exciting to see something different, you know? It's exciting to see a brand an existing brand that is more readily available in places like Walmart and Ulta come out with such a unique editorial product. Now, granted, they only sold it on Ulta.com and flowerbeauty.com, but still, it's a white mascara. I think it's just, and it's a really good white mascara. I mean, again, I just love any brand that's going to take a risk, try something different, and if they can do it well and execute it well, which they have in this case, like, good for them. You know, like, go ahead and throw in that really unusual chartreuse green into your palette. Like, let's keep making blue lipsticks. Like, makeup doesn't always have to be about meeting a certain beauty standard. It's like, it can be about artistic expression. Okay, let's finish with some fragrances. I know it's kind of a long video. My two most worn fragrances of the year, my number one was probably Boy Smells Fleur de la Virgin. Britney Spears Curious is a close second. The only reason this is number one is because I've had it longer. And this one is a beautiful, very sheer musky jasmine with a nice ripe green fig. There's a little ivy in here, so it does have like a kind of crispness. If you like the way Chanel chants Au tendre, if you like the way that smells, but you also like fig, I think you'll really like this because it does kind of smell like Chance Au Tendre with a little fig added in. I'm still not a fan of the packaging. I think it's just unnecessary, and like I demonstrated in that previous video, if there's any residual fragrance on the spray nozzle here or inside the cap, you cannot pick it up by the cap because it will fall. And then Britney Spears Curious, I bought quite a few of her fragrances in 2021, and I didn't realize that I've just smelled this so many times in my life and wasn't able to place it. It's a beautiful, really elegant fragrance that I think, frankly, could be launched today and it would still smell relevant and be popular. Estee Lauder could put this out, Tiffany could put this out, Tocca could put this out, and it would feel appropriate. There's a very smooth vanilla musk that's not too sweet, it's not too thick and cloying, just kind of smooths everything out. There's also magnolia and a lotus, so it's kind of got that bright, kind of crisp floral note. And then there's a really nice, like transparent pear. So you think, you know, like a pear jelly bean that's really super sweet and fleshy. This is like a much more sheer and transparent version of that pear note. Like both my parents are not fragrance fans at all. And this is one of the few scents that I can wear that doesn't, you know, kind of bother them and drive them bonkers. And then last but not least, Midnight Fantasy, which I also love. To me, it smells like blueberry bubble bath, plum note, some raspberry, some sour cherry, a vanilla orchid, which does have a little bit more sweetness to it than the vanilla musk that's in here. But yeah, I think, who's it, Chandler Burr, who described this as like if Chanel No. 5 was a Jolly Rancher flavor, it would smell like this, and I think that's a great way to say it. And I'm sorry, but you cannot tell me that Britney was not inspired by a Christmas ornament when, you know, this bottle design was made. This is straight up a Christmas ornament, you know? And that's why I love her. And finally, Dias and Durga Breakfast Leipzig. It's not typically the kind of candle I would go for because I don't usually like gourmand scents or anything that's kind of food inspired. But this is described as like almond pastry, some leather, some woodiness, pipe tobacco, but definitely it's like the almond pastry is front and center here. But it's so good. There's no denying that this is just very, very special and just cozy and spicy and wonderful. So okay, I think that's everything. If you're still here, thanks for hanging out. I know it was a lot to talk about. It was also a long year. Yeah, I would love to know what your favorite products were of 2021, as well as the products you're excited about this year. I have so many products waiting in the wings to try that I think I'm gonna start kind of turning down PR for the next few months just because I have so much to get through. But that also means I'll have a lot more material to make content with. I hope everyone's staying safe. I know there's so much going on in the world right now, especially with all the new variants of COVID. So I hope that you are safe and you're doing okay. If you have any questions, you have any comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It definitely helps me out. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I think that's everything. Until my next video, I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.